Hello everybody, this is MrChabry. We are going to be playing Pokemon Black version. So, looking at my channel, I actually have not done a playthrough of a Generation 5 Pokemon game. And I think now would be a perfect time to get at least one of these games in. And we're going to actually start off with Pokemon Black. If you notice, we have a little cutscene animation in the beginning. It kind of opens up some mystery. Who are these people? Why are they crowning someone? Who is this guy? Why did we see some child lost in the woods with Pokemon? Why does that guy have eyeballs on his cape? Now we see hopes, dreams, discoveries, adventures await. To give you a little preview of what kind of game this is going to be, and then we see this. This is the title screen. That Pokemon is the legendary of Pokemon Black. That's going to be Reshiram. We're going to eventually find that Pokemon, but for right now, we're going to actually begin our journey. If you guys would like to play along, get yourself a copy of Pokemon Black version. A lot of the connectivity features are no longer available, and we'll see some of those features as we go along. So here we meet Professor Juniper, which is the first female professor in the Pokemon game. Of course, we've had, I think, at least one more female Pokemon professor from Sword and Shield. And then we have, if you get Pokemon Scarlet, the professor in that one is a female as well. But here is Professor Juniper breaking the glass ceiling when it comes to Pokemon professorship. Anyway, she's going to introduce us to the concept of Pokemon. That's a very common thing that happens in the beginning of every Pokemon game. And I do have to say, these two designs for Pokemon trainers are very nice. I really like these two designs. I really like this one. This guy is usually called Hilbert by the fan base, and I think he has a really cool design. In fact, when I played Pokemon Y, I tried to make my character look like this because I thought this was a cool design. It's very reminiscent of the original Pokemon games, Red, Blue, and Yellow. So, let's see here. The question is, can I fit MrChabry? Or do I just have to go with Chabry? Usually I end up having to go with Chabry, but we'll see. Alright, so yeah. We'll go ahead and add Chabry. Yes. Alright, and then we're going to be introduced to our two best friends. These are going to be our rivals. Whereas other Pokemon games, often you will have one rival. In Pokemon Black and White, you will actually have two rivals. The first one is Sharon, the other one is Bianca. Basically, Bianca is going to be your easier rival. She's going to always select the Pokemon when we get to where we can select our Pokemon. She's going to select the one that's weaker to yours. Sharon will select the one that is stronger than yours. So keep that in mind when you battle them. You'll need to know which Pokemon they're going to be bringing. And it's really easy to base off the other Pokemon on your team based off what your rival is going to pick. So say you end up picking Snivy, the grass type. Make sure you have something that can deal with fire types on your team. Same thing if you pick Oshawott, make sure you have something that deals with grass types. We're going to see Juniper poke her head into our house and then leave. And then Sharon is here randomly. I heard from Professor Juniper, we can have a Pokemon? What's keeping Bianca? So early on you get a sense of their character traits. Bianca is usually late. She kind of struggles in her trying to make sure everything is going right in her adventure. Sharon, he is very serious. He wants to be the best battler. So early on, we get a sense of that. You can see Sharon ready to get the Pokemon. He wants to go ahead and start this. Bianca kind of being forgetful. So what you'll do is you'll open the gift box, and that will introduce us to the 3 starters. What I want to ask you guys is, which starter did you pick if you played for your first time? Or are you playing for this playthrough that we're doing now? The grass type is Snivy, so looking at this thing in terms of its stats once it reaches its final form, this is more of a defensive Pokemon. This thing is meant to take hits. Its move pool is kind of limited. It's more support based. It is the fastest out of the 3, so if you want speed or defense, this is a really great choice. Tepig, on the other hand, is basically the opposite. It's very, very slow. It's got really low defenses, low special defense, low physical defense, but it has really good attack and special attack. This is also the one that has the best HP, surprisingly. You wouldn't expect that from something with such poor defenses. But if you're wanting something that's more of a offensive threat, Tepig is a better choice than Snivy. And once it reaches its final form, it does have the fighting type added, so that gives you some nice type combinations. And then the last one is Oshawott. This one is more balanced of the 3. It's not as fast as Superior or as bulky, but it has more speed and bulk than Tepig. And it's not as offensive as, you know, your fire type starters, but it's better than the grass type. So, which one did you pick? I'm going to pick, for this playthrough, I'm going to pick Tepig. Nice. So, in terms of naming this thing, alright, so like I said, Bianca will always choose the weaker, so since I picked Tepig, she has Snivy. And Sharon would always pick the stronger one, so he has picked Oshawott. Alright, so everyone has chosen their first Pokemon. So we're going to get into our first battle. And of course, we're going to be battling in our room. So instead of being out somewhere else, you know, a public space to battle, we're just going to battle here. So you're going to always start off with battling Bianca here. And of course, that's because she's got the weaker one. So it's going to be a little bit easier for you. Of course, at this time, you're not really going to have that many really great attacks. So yeah, it's going to be kind of back and forth with either tackles, scratches, the moves that are like that. So we're going to go ahead and tackle. And you can see the animation is very interesting on this one. Generation 5 was the only Pokemon game that had a constant animation cycle for their sprites like this. If you remember Generation 4, they would have an animation once they entered battle. And then by Generation 6, they had switched away from sprites into models. So this is the only time you're going to see this constant animation from these sprites. And it does add a lot of character. One of the downsides, though, and you might have noticed, is your Pokemon are going to kind of be pixelated. That's because they kind of had to stretch the pixels. I don't know if that was intentional or of an oversight. But the actual size is meant to be best viewed from your opponent's distance. Alright, so easily defeated our Bianca rival there. And you can see our whole bedroom has been destroyed. Alright, but no doubt, we're going to go ahead and, let's see here. We're going to realize that we just destroyed our room, and you see paw prints all over the place. Of course, Snivy doesn't really have paws, so... Well, neither does Tepig. Tepig has hoofs, so what happened? Where did these come from? These aren't my Pokemon. Alright, so Sharon will restore our Pokemon. And we're going to go ahead and switch into battling Sharon. So, of course, Sharon is going to be more challenging throughout the game. So, here we go. Of course, our room is already destroyed. What's the worst that could happen? We're just going to add to the destruction. So, like I said, our other rival, Sharon, he has picked the Pokemon stronger to you. So that's going to be Oshawott. Now, don't panic, because right now you don't have anything really great against Oshawott. But eventually, you'll be given some tools to help you out. Alright, so really, there's not much of a threat, though, because your opponent doesn't have any moves of their typing. The thing is, neither do you. So it's going to be just a tackle fest back and forth. Really, that's the only thing it is. The interesting thing is, all the starters are just going to know tackle. There we go. And Oshawott goes down, and that will give Tepig his first level. So, nice. Pretty simple. Alright, I made a strange blunder. My first battle, but this feeling I have. I'm finally a trainer, yes. And so are we, so... Our adventure has begun, and they're just going to leave me here. Look at my room. This is devastating. What the heck? Anyway, hopefully our mother doesn't get onto us for that. Oh, I'm sorry about all the trouble, ma'am. Well, we can clean it up. No worries, I'll take care of it later. Thank you, Mom. That's interesting. Our mother is not angry at us for completely destroying our room. She understands the importance of a Pokemon battle. Sorry. Alright, so first off, we're going to see Sharon and Bianca leave, and our mom is going to talk to us a little bit. Pokemon battles are lively, aren't they? Could hear Pokemon's cries clear from down here. That reminded me of my first Pokemon battle. You know what? After a battle, you need to rest your Pokemon. So, of course, Sharon healed Bianca's Pokemon, but didn't bother to heal mine after our battle. And here you'll get your X-Transceiver. This is actually an important item that you will be using throughout the game. Certain characters will be calling you. So now we will go down here and actually... while I'm thinking about it, we'll go ahead and change the tech speed. That's always a thing that I like to do first. I always love changing that tech speed because it makes it so much quicker to get through everything. So you can see the light, the lens glare that they put into the game. Just so nice. And then you need to go to Bianca's house, which is this one to the left. We'll follow Bianca in there and help her get ready for her adventure. And we're going to see her dad scolding her for even wanting to go on an adventure. He doesn't believe that she is capable. And then she says that she's going to be waiting in front of the lab so we can actually talk to her father. What nonsense is this? How could my daughter, who knows nothing about the world, be going on a journey with Pokemon? So, probably not the best way of going about it, but you can get a sense that he actually does care about his daughter. He's just worried, and he knows that she's kind of absent-minded. I mean, we saw early on that she forgot about our receiving of the Pokemon, and she came in late. So now we're going to go in here and find Professor Juniper. Of course, named after a tree. She's going to kind of give us another rundown on Pokemon and tells us that's unusual. You've already had a Pokemon battle. I guess that is unusual. But I do think I would like to name my Tepig. And I like finding different, I guess, themes. And the one that I'm going to kind of go with is fruit theme, I believe. That's always a easy one to do because there's so many fruits that you can attribute to each of your Pokemon. Now, I don't think there's a it doesn't have that one symbol. But you can see I'm going to name my Tepig Jalapeno. It's a spicy fire type, and you know, there's plenty of red jalapenos. Alright, so now we've added Tepig to our Pokédex, which is nice. Our first Pokemon. And we will go and fill up our Pokédex. That's what Professor Juniper really wants us to do. So, with our Pokédex in hand, we are ready to head out to Route 1. And before we leave, we get stopped down here by our mother, who realizes, oh, we were given a Pokemon to go on this huge adventure. She's going to give us a map so we don't get lost. She's going to give our friends maps too. Their parents didn't think to hand them a map. Just send them on their way. They'll be fine. That's the plan there. But we will go ahead and head out. Our mother already knows. She's telling our rivals to, hey, you should let your parents know. And, well, I mean, Bianca's dad knows, at least we know. Because we saw that. But I don't know about Sharon. I don't know if Sharon's parents know. But they'll find out eventually. They can always call him on the X-Transceiver. But now we are going to take our first steps on this adventure into Route 1. This is our first time leaving the town, I guess, because Bianca is so excited. We have never stepped foot outside of our starting town. Over here is Professor Juniper, who's going to tell us about catching Pokemon. She's going to show us how to catch Pokemon. Now, if you're someone that's played Pokemon games before, this is just sort of like a review. But say you've never played a Pokemon game before, well, this is probably new information. It'd be kind of hard to go through the UI if you've never played it before and figure it out, I guess. So I guess this is just a way to make sure first-time players are able to navigate the game, and catching Pokemon is one of the most important parts besides battling. Someone probably could get through this game really without catching many Pokemon. Of course, you're legendary, you're going to have to catch that thing. But most of the game, you're just going to be playing through it. You could probably pull a one Pokemon playthrough on this thing just fine. So she kind of tells us the best way to make sure you catch Pokemon is to paralyze them, put them to sleep. Any status condition is going to make it easier for you to catch. Alright, so now we need to head to Accumula Town. That town is at the end of Route 1. So, of course, Route 1 being this nice little area we're standing on, you can see all the blades of grass, I guess, the weeds, the grain. I'm not sure what's flying in front of our face, but something's flying there. But they're excited to start this journey, And I think we'll go ahead and take a few steps. And I'm not really worried about catching anything. You can catch some Pokemon. And at the end, they will keep track of how many Pokemon you caught. And they'll remark, depending on how many Pokemon you caught. And there are a few Pokemon that are available here. We have Lillipup and Patrat, 2 normal types. Pretty early on, good normal types for the early game. Of course, later on, at least Patrat kind of falls off. Lillipup actually still does decent in its final form. It is actually a really good Pokemon. So, of course, if you want to catch those Pokemon, those are there for you. We're going to go ahead and call this episode. I think next time we're going to finish up with Route 1, make our way into Accumula Town, see what's going on there. There's going to be something interesting there. And then work our way further. I believe it's north that we head first. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. I will see you in the next Pokemon video.